I like to blame it that I'm old like my mom, and so all this like tech stuff, I'm like, oh, it's so hard for me, but it's just a life.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to do it.
I use things on social media for the base, like the base minimum that they do, and everyone's like, "Oh, they can do so many cool things." No, I don't. No, I don't want to do that.
I just want to figure out filters because I hear from all my guy friends when they're going out on dating apps, they're like, I'm so tired of girls using filters. I'm like, where does one get these filters at that I can use?
Yeah, I've
That's what
never been good at filters.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna record and then I'll upload it to YouTube.
Oh, nice.
But I have to figure out how I can this is my sister Tara.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
We have to be super close in order, yeah. Hey.
Hey.
And so I have to figure out a way to get the file to you, like the video file.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's so big, you can't email it.
Mm.
Okay.
The video?
Yeah. But I was telling her about every time we go live, the dog's over there with the dog bed. So.
I get so excited.
He has the burlesque show.
It's nonsense. Okay. So let me put him away. And then what we'll do, I know, because I thought he'd be good because we've already done this earlier, but anyway. What?
Oh no, I was reading.
Oh yeah. You can leave your glasses on.
I'm gonna need to leave my glasses on these days. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna make formal introductions, but let me put him away because he's so noisy and literally you can hear him.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you're already live.
I am already live.
Oh, okay.
I know, but when we'll edit this all out. This will be in the blooper reel.
Oh, okay. Good. We have a blooper reel. Ooh, wow. Okay.
Okay. We're sophisticated.
All right. Yes, you need to go get them.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you gonna put them?
In the bedroom. Like I did last time. That little thing again.
Yeah. So where are you located?
I am in upstate New York. I'm in the heart of the Adirondack Mountains.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous because we're in Houston.
Okay.
It's a concrete jungle. It's just buildings. It's like New York City, you know what I mean? But not as bad as New York City. But yeah, totally. That is so awesome. Do you know the highest peak?
Oh gosh, I don't. I'm literally in the center of it. So just like it's miles every way. It's everywhere.
Is it beautiful?
Oh, it's gorgeous. I mean, we get 6 months of winter.
Love it.
Okay, but I wouldn't live anywhere else. I love it so much. It's small town. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody helps out their neighbor.
Where is this?
Upstate New York, right in the middle of the Adirondack Mountains. Beautiful.
Do you go in those mountains in the woods?
Oh yeah.
There is some creepy stories about like what you do and don't do in the woods. You don't whistle, and
we're not gonna talk about those.
It's not ghost stories.
We're like nice woods. We're not like the woods in like the creepy woods of West Virginia. We're like the nice, pretty woods in northern New York.
Right? I had no idea about that. And then I somehow got on like creepy wood TikTok.
Don't do that.
And oh my gosh, it was one night, it's always happens in the middle of the night. And so you're up till 1 in the morning and you're like, oh my God, did I hear that? I heard that. What was that? What was that?
And I had no idea about creepy woods until I think you brought it up. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But I think you're right. I think it is like West Virginia that they talk about.
I think it's just because it's so dense that the light literally can't get through. So they're dark almost the entire 24 hours in a day. Whereas here, it's a little more spread out. So you just get that really pretty sun shining through the leaves effect all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So
we have a castle an hour away from our house. It's great.
What is an hour away?
It's called Bolt Castle. It's on this. Yeah. It's my God. It's so pretty. Go look it up and it's going to blow your mind.
Bolt
Castle.
It was made by George Bolt. He actually bought this island for like $5 back in whatever 1800s, whatever it was. And he wanted to build this huge castle for his wife. So he actually blasted the island. So it's in the shape of a heart. So it's Heart Island. And she got really sick when he was halfway through having these builders make it. And then she passed away. And when she passed away, he ended production. He said, I don't want it finished. No one's allowed there. The whole island is closed. We're done forever. And then years and years later, it got bought by a historical society, and they've put all this money into it, and they're almost completed now. So every few years, there's another story that's completed that you can go explore. So it's like a huge yeah.
That is so cool.
Very cool.
All right, I'm gonna have to. Did you write that down, Bolt Castle? I'm gonna have that. It's on the bucket list.
I will be writing it down now. Bolt.
Yeah, Bolt. B-O-L-T. Like a bolt. B-O. Like a colt.
I know how to spell bolt.
to the writer. B-O.
Bolt.
Like colt.
I'm sorry. Bolt. Can you give me the origin of the word, like the National Spelling Bee? Can you use it in a sentence? Exactly.
Sorry, we crack ourselves up because we have actually done that whole spelling bee kind of thing.
Yeah, I are the same way.
Okay, so tell us your handles on all your social medias. Where are you at? Where people can find you?
Okay.
Your website.
We try to make it easy, so everything is at Cape and Castle, and that's for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
TikTok.
I don't have one for the site for TikTok. I probably should. What ended up happening was I have my own, which is Sarah_Jean17, and that was just my personal one. And then it turned into one where I just made videos about my dog. And I started meeting a lot of authors. And,
thanks for the hearts.
Oh,
LN.
What's that?
Oh, do you see there's like hearts? Someone's like, yeah. You're so sweet.
Nice. But yeah, it started like I was like, oh, I should put my reviews on my TikTok and then send them to the Cape and Castle. So I should probably just make a Cape and Castle.
There we go.
On my list. Yeah. One more social media handle I don't need.
But it's hard because you can't get them all. Like, I feel like all websites have been taken, all handles have been taken. And so, geez, you're almost having to use like a generator.
Yep.
AI generator to help you come up with the names because everything's been done. But tell my sister where you came up with Cape and Castle. It's so cute.
I really like
CapeandCastle.com.
So I worked for a company by these two women who used to work for Entertainment Weekly, and met this girl.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I met this girl who lives in California, and we just got really close really quick, which is really funny because we're on opposite sides of the country. So of course I had to pick the writer from the farthest away.
Of course.
And we just got super close, and we wrote there for a few years, and we're like, what do you think if we started our own site? And I was like, oh my God, that would be amazing. Yes, let's do it. And she is such a Disney lover. It's like any trivia about Disney, she's going to know it, and she's going to know it in 0.2 seconds.
Is she married, and did she honeymoon there?
She is not married, but she goes there a lot. Like,
so her honeymoon, when she does get married, will be there.
Absolutely. I would not. And she's into movies, and I mean, I love movies, but I'm such a TV show buff, and I'm really into all the superhero shows and all the CW shows. So we're like, okay, like Capes and Castles.
Capes and Castle, that's right.
Yep. And so we put it together, and it's been such a fun ride. And so many people have been like, oh, that's such a cool name. Like, that's so unique. And I'm just like, yeah, it's really a dorky story as to how it got named.
Great. There's some people that are just so good with that marketing, like the cutesy stuff and the branding. And then there's me, I'm like, what rhymes with M words?
Oh, yeah. I'm the same way. I'm like, I was such a non creative thinker.
I'm just like, I'll use my name. My name. That one's taken. Let's add some numbers. It's fine. They don't mean anything, but it's fine.
Yeah. Totally. Okay. So speaking of a TV junkie, you know what today is? Episode 1.
Oh, of Meghan Markle, and
Yes.
and I'm going to reserve my comments about Meghan Markle. So
I think, yeah, like there's 2 camps.
Yes.
There's no in between. It's either dislike or like. Yeah.
I'm in the Royals camp. I'm in the Royals camp.
Yeah. You mean like
like the British Royals? Yeah.
the Middletons. I mean,
No, sure. No.
the Middletons.
The Middletons. No, they're not. They're not royal. Their daughter married a royal.
Well, one of them now.
You're in the. Yes,
yeah, I'm definitely in the
monarchy.
Yeah, I'm in the
technically,
Queen's camp.
Yeah.
Meghan and Harry are royals too, technically.
Technically, they are correct, and I just think that she's going to be the death of him. I really do.
We need you to clarify your stance.
We'll fast forward about 15 years when they're going through a very bitter divorce.
You think they'll last 15 years?
You know, I don't think so. But I was, trying to be kind, give him a little.
She's giving him some.
I'm try to give him some years. Yeah.
So, have you seen it yet, Sarah?
I have not.
Is it on your list to watch?
It's on my list. I feel I try to watch that after everybody else watched it, just because I don't want to be proud of everyone watching it, because it gets fans get crazy. They get crazy. So I'm like, okay, I'll wait like a week. I'll record it and I'll wait like a week, and then I'll watch it in my time when people aren't losing their minds.
Oh yeah.
That's how
I'm going to hate watch it. Okay. I'm hate watching it. It's not like, oh, I can't wait to. Yeah, I'm not hate that. Oh, I'm going to support your show. I'm hate watching it.
Whatever works, really.
Well, okay, so I got stuck on, like TikTok. I don't know, it's not so much here on IG, but I feel like TikTok, once there's a subject that you happen to spend and you're like, what am I trying to say? When you watch the whole video on that subject, then it just feeds you more and more and more. And somehow I got on the side of like, well, Meghan talk.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know. And it was just like one video after another. And I was like, okay, well, I need to go back to the hot book guys.
Now, wonder I get so many horse TikTok videos now, because I keep watching the equestrian, and
I have to hold it and click that I'm not interested in it, just because you get so deep into it that you can't get out.
That's true. That's true. I only watched,
which I didn't mind when the Queen passed away.
Oh yeah, totally.
I was stuck in major like Queen death TikTok, and I was here for it. I was like, let me get some popcorn because I'm here for it. I wanted to see every bit of it because
I still have I recorded everything. I recorded when they went to Balmoral. Yes, when they went to Balmoral, and then when she left Balmoral to Edinburgh, the castle. Yeah, the castle. And then they went from from one of the castles to the other castle in Edinburgh, and then from Edinburgh to London. I mean, I would watch all of it. I still have to watch the actual funeral.
So you didn't shower like that? Those days you just didn't shower like
no. I've been watching it. I've been watching it in pieces. I would, would work, and then I'd like, okay. And then I would record all the BBC specials and yeah, I'm a big like totally nuts into the royals. Just like also when they were picking a pope. So when they were picking a pope way back,
she's the only one that is this. We are Lutheran. We're not even Catholic, but she was extremely invested in Pope talk.
It's an interesting topic, even if it's not your shtick, It's like
how they do the he's gonna die, and they appoint another one and another one, and I don't know why they pick different names. It doesn't even matter, and they can't use John anymore because I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it was called Pope Watch.
Pope Watch, yes.
It was called Pope Watch, and it was like
2019 Pope Watch 20.
It was a long time ago, because I remember I had a little Pope hat. You remember the Pope hat I got?
I feel bad because I get them confused because I just think that they all look the same.
Yeah, they kind of do.
So, Sarah, I think what she's saying is she could be a contributor.
Come on over. We're welcoming. We're not. That was like one of our biggest things when we started. We've both worked for other sites, and some sites have like just this abundance of writers, and then there's it's like slim pickings because I want to cover that show. Oh, you're already covering it. Okay, so I can't. Kind of made this agreement that we were going to keep things tight knit and we were going to have a smaller crew, and you didn't just have to write about one thing, and one person doesn't own a show. If you want to write about like, I'm going to do a review. Okay, cool. I'm going to write an article about what I want to see next season. And we try to make an all-inclusive space. And if someone wants to write about music or news or a celebrity, like we do celebrity appreciation. So if someone has an actor who they're just like, oh, I just really want to gush about this person, not just one project, they can write a whole article about that actor. And we were all about making an inclusive space with a small, tight-knit community where we all know each other, and they get to go to events, and we've got to meet each other at some of these events. And it's really cool to be like, oh my God, like, you kind of forget that you've never met them in person because you talk to them every day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
And this is what they do then. If you'll take us through the process, what you're saying is, since no one owns it, all your contributors can do an article and it appears on your website and then the social media machines.
Yep. So everybody another aspect we didn't like is we worked for a lot of sites where it felt like it had to go through like 3 people before it got posted.
Yeah. The review process.
It just makes it feel really micromanaged, and it makes it kind of feel like not your own anymore if you have these 3 different people suggest something that's your opinion. Yep. So we brought on one person at a time, and each person was trained how to edit their own article, post their own article, and then advertise it on all of the Cape and Castle media channels, and then they could post it on their own as well. So every person who comes in can do everything themselves, and they just kind of check in with us like, hey, is it cool if I do this? And we're like, absolutely. I've never said no. I'll never say no.
Because you're technically the CEO of it, correct? Is that the right term?
Yeah. So Christine and we call ourselves the editors-in-chief.
Yeah.
And then I have a managing editor who just kind of helps me out. I'm like the odd man out of every site I've ever been with, because all of these people are in it to get journalism experience, or they're in college for journalism, or they're looking for something as work experience to add to their resume before they try to get to Entertainment Weekly. Oh. And I just do it for shits and giggles. Like, I have no desire to become a famous journalist. I have no desire to work for Entertainment Weekly. I have a full-time job that I love more than anything in the world that has nothing to do with writing. And I was able to keep my site a secret for like 1.5 years before they all found out about it. We're like, why wouldn't you tell us about this? I'm like, because it's like this little thing that
it's mine, separate from y'all.
People don't get it. And I learned that from my big sister, because she's one of the smartest people that I know, which means she's severely lacking in common sense, unfortunately. All the time about how she stood in line a little too long for the book smarts and not enough in line for the common sense parts. And she was like, I wanted to take her to an event in New Jersey, and she was like, no, like, that's like hundreds of thousands of weird people dressed up, and that's weird. I don't want to do that.
Like BookCon or Comic-Con?
It was like I go to like the smaller events that are more focused on specific TV shows, because I love that, because it's like more intimate. It gives me more interviews, and it gives me more like mingling kind of opportunities. And I was like, listen, this is not an option. You're going to go with me, because at the end of the day, even if you hate it, we're going to just have a really good time hanging out together. No, I knew what it was going to be like, and she didn't. And I refused to tell her any details. I'm like, you just keep thinking in your head that it's terrible. Like, you're going to have the worst 8 hours of your life. So, and we took my brother-in-law, and he's very chill. So he's just like, hey man, it sucks or it's awesome. I don't care. Either way, it's great. So we go, and we get there, and it's more set up like tables with people who are selling art, and there were some famous art who like did the posters for TV shows.
Like digital art kind of a thing?
Yeah. Yep. And they had some really famous artists who were doing painting right in front of everyone, and then they would sell that painting.
That's cool.
Really cool, like different kinds of crafts and different things. It was just all related to TV shows that were on the CW. So then we get to the actors portion of the room. And because I got in as press, we got to go in early. So there's like nobody around. It's just us and the actors.
Sweet.
I thought she was going to pass out.
Okay, what show? Can you tell us what this was?
This one was for Arrow, The Walking Dead.
Dude,
Wow.
those are big shows.
Yeah. It was for, trying to think of who else was there. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time.
Wow.
Teen Wolf, the Teen Wolf actors came. Supernatural. It was really like their biggest, it was the CW's biggest shows, and then they combined with Walking Dead. And
I love that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was,
I never watched The Walking Dead. I watched Fear the Walking Dead.
that was my favorite. That one's my favorite.
And
so these guys.
And the reason why I only watched that one was because Alicia Dubnan Carey,
Yes, I love her.
who was Lexa in The 100, who I had a huge crush on. I was like, well, I got to follow her into whatever she's going to do next.
She's amazing. She's a powerhouse. So she's incredible. So my sister watches a lot of these shows, but Supernatural is probably like her ultimate favorite. And they had one of the actual Impalas used in the show, and all the cast had signed the inside, and you could get in it, and you could have pictures taken, and you could wear some of the clothes that like Jensen and Jared wore on set. And she's like, "Is this real? This isn't real. This is not real." And I'm like, "You're literally talking to yourself. Impala. This is real. Are here in front of other people." So she's like, "Is this what you do?" And at this point, I've been doing it for probably 8 years now. And at that time, it had probably been for 3 or 4. And I'm like, in all this time, have you not actually looked at what I'm doing? She's like, no. No. I thought you were just like writing stuff, and I didn't look at it. I didn't have any idea. I just thought you were doing this dorky thing with like 3 of your friends in the basement. Like, it's not that big of a deal. She's like, I support you, but I didn't think it was that cool. So now she's like, we're going again, right? When are we going again? When's the next one? I always take someone different. Like, I've taken my niece, I've taken my mom. My mom is like the most supportive person in the entire world.
Nice.
And I tell her, this person followed me.
She'll
have no idea who I'm talking about. Like, she'll never have seen it. She'll like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I'm like, you don't know who that is, do you? You're really excited about it, so that's cool. So she had a great time, and they're really incredible events. I've gotten some really cool opportunities. I got to go to Toronto to the NBC studios.
Sweet.
Yeah, and they showed us, that was wild, because they were actually filming at the time, and they were doing the Taken series, and so there was a lot of action scenes, and we got to see how someone goes through a wall and what it actually looks like, and then how they reset. And that was wild. That was one of the coolest things ever. And we just kind of got to, like, we were just like it was this group of people from all different internet sites. So I got to mingle and meet these people and those people, and had some people come to be like, oh yeah, I used to work for TV Guide. And I was like, yeah. My site's totally, you've definitely heard of it. Yeah. No, you have not.
We're the same. You and TV Guide are the same.
Oh my God, TV Guide.
Yeah, I belong in this crowd for sure. As I'm thinking to myself the whole time, I have no idea how I got invited to this. Am I going to get kicked out?
Was that before COVID?
That was before COVID. Yeah, that one was before.
What is it like now after COVID? I'm so tired of hearing people like, well, because of COVID. I'm like, oh, stop saying those words. We're a year out from it.
I was like hated by everyone because I thought COVID was awesome in the way that I got the wildest opportunities.
Really?
I'm not really big on traveling across the country. I have like this little radius that I will go.
That's me.
And yeah,
she wants to go to Uganda. Literally today, she said, "I may go to Uganda to do this book thing," and she's like, and I'm like, I can't go. Like, this body will never go.
Like, is it Is it within my 8-hour radius? I'm not going. I'm not going.
You know how much Xanax I have to take? I said, you have to roofie me. They won't let you on these planes drunk anymore. So I will get on, and then you roofie me the whole trip.
Don't wake me till we get there. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm a control freak, and I'm a brat, so I like to drive. So the only time I've really been on a plane is I like to do nice things for my mom that she won't do for herself. So she likes to say no. So if I ask her, like, hey, do you want to go to Florida for 10 days and go to Disney? No, absolutely not. I have to come to her and say, so I bought these tickets. Please don't, I can't refund them. All right, I guess I'll go. It's like the best time of her life. But that's like the only exception. Like my mom, that's the only exception. Otherwise, if I can't drive there, I'm not going.
Did you drive to Toronto then?
I did. Yep, Toronto was about 2.5 hours from us.
Yeah, because they're upstate New York. Yeah.
Well, you know, because in Texas, you can drive 12 hours and still be in Texas.
No, we're way up there. Toronto's like a hop, skip, and a jump. Like it's nothing.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
that is cool.
Like we have a border crossing like 45 minutes from my house. Like it's very cool. Canada's right there. We're right up with Canada.
What are you showing? You're just showing to show your driver's license, right? Or are they requiring your passport?
So we have an enhanced driver's license. They like run it through their thing, and they don't even ask. They just, here you go, off you go. If you don't have your enhanced driver's license, you can show your passport. But I think they were requiring all of us to have enhanced driver's license by like 2023 or 2024. It's like $10 extra. I was like, I don't have a passport. So yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
You can sit.
Not a passport because I don't go anywhere.
Because you don't want to. Because it's last time I checked, England is outside that 8 hours.
It's gone.
Might be, actually.
And it's too far away.
Yeah, she can't drive.
No, you can't. You'd have to drive and then get on a boat.
The whole thing. I can't go.
And see, 45 minutes for us. You can sit in traffic for 45 minutes.
In Houston. Yeah. And still be in Houston.
And finally downtown.
Yeah. We don't really have traffic. Like it takes me 12 minutes to get to work, and work is 10 miles away.
Oh my gosh. No.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so I work about 8 miles. Well, I work about 8 miles from my house?
If that.
And it takes me 45 minutes.
No, we don't have that.
Yeah.
It's very like a lot of our roads are side roads. They don't even have lines on them. And like my road that I'm on, the only people that live on it are family. It's a mile long. And the only people that drive on it live on it.
Oh, that's not. We're in the city. It's a free for all. Okay, but post COVID and your cool opportunity. Sorry.
So I was able to. Everything went virtual.
Yeah.
So all these virtual events. So one of my favorite shows is The Rookie, and one of my favorite actors is Eric Winter. He's my Hallmark. He's a top-notch actor for me. So they reached out to me and they're like, hey, we're doing this event. We'd really like it if you could jump in and do like a panel with the cast of The Rookie and then like do a video chat with Eric Winter and Melissa O'Neill. I was just like, yeah, let me check my schedule.
I'm super booked.
I never, no matter how bad I would want to, I just don't think I could force myself to go to a Comic-Con event where there's hundreds of thousands of people and it's crazy busy. You have to wait hours and hours and hours to meet somebody. But with COVID, they did entire virtual events.
Oh, wow.
What does that mean, though? Is it virtual like this or?
So they had it set up. There was this one called HomeCon, which I thought was never-ending hilarious. And they used Twitch as their platform. But they had it all set up in a way that they had everybody in almost like the Facebook calls. Everybody gets like their own, or like Zoom, like everybody gets their own square.
Oh, right.
And then they had a moderator from their Twitch account, and they just did like questions and answers, and fans commented, and they were reading comments as if they were at the panel where they were passing around the microphone. And then they did private opportunities. They'd send you a link to your email, and you'd open it up, put in a passcode, and it would tell you like how long you had to wait until whichever actor was going to join, and then an actor jumped in the call, and then you had your time with them to ask them questions back and forth, and you were able to record it and get screenshots and do things like that. And that like took off. So then they're like, oh, that worked out really well. Let's do more of these. And then even when COVID got to the point where we were traveling again, there's all kinds of virtual events. Like I've gotten to jump in on a Hocus Pocus panel that I never,
cool.
Oh yeah. And I never, that's a huge, I mean, that was part of my childhood, and I never would have been able to join in on something like that. And it was like, oh, I'm going to dress up my top half and go in the bedroom and jump on. Like, I don't even have to get dressed. Like, it's great. And it was just, I would say, like, I'd go to work and I'd be like, man, COVID's great. Great. Give me some great opportunities. They look at me and they're like, what is wrong with you? How dare you ruined our life?
Yeah.
How do they find you then? Was it because of your website, or are you, I don't know what the right word is, are you seeking out those opportunities, or do you have to like email people? What am I trying to say?
Of everything. So when I worked at the first site, those girls coming from Entertainment Weekly, they already had a lot of contacts. So working hard with them, they'd be like, okay, you're doing really well. We're going to give you this interview opportunity. And so their manager or whichever PR group they were would interact with you to set up an interview. And then you would do the article, and and they'd be like, hey, good job. You were super professional, and you kind of built up your own relationship. So Anderson Group PR is one of the bigger ones that and they followed me to Cape and Castle. So they took my new email and they reach out to me. I get pretty consistent opportunities with them. Like they're like, hey, we'd love to have you interview this Netflix star. I just talked to an actress from the Luckiest Girl Alive movie. She acted opposite Kunis. And it's just like the more you do for them, the more they send you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is really awesome.
They're like less about like some places you go and you're like, hey, I'd love, like most sites have a press or a contact.
Yeah.
And go in, you do your research and you try to join, and they're like, well, you don't really have enough followers for us to justify giving you an interview. So come back when you do. And I'm like, all right. I mean, my attitude is I already don't have the interview. It can't hurt to ask them for one. If they say no, okay, cool. But I've gotten, sometimes I'll get a yes. They're like, hey, you know what? That showed a lot of guts. And you just reaching out and being like, hey, what's up? Let's chat. And they'll give me one. I've had some contact me through usually Twitter. Twitter is really popular.
Really?
Oh yeah. Your TV actors are very interactive on Twitter. They'll live tweet their own shows, interact with fans. So I've had them reach out and be like, oh man, like I saw this article you wrote about me and I thought that was really cool. So they'll share your stuff. And then you'll be like, oh, like, want to chat? And I'm like, all right, cool, sure. And I'm very like, I send you questions. It doesn't have to be a video call. Some will do, I use like a conference, like Uber conference call, and then I just record the phone call, and then it's just kind of a very casual back and forth conversation, and then I type up an article summarizing it, and then I tag them in it, and then they share it, and it gets put across different platforms then it gets shared by this person and that person, and it just kind of spreads, and then someone sees it and they're like, oh hey, I'd like to interact with these people. They seem really cool. Come interact with us. We're pretty cool.
That is neat.
Yeah, it's a wild ride. It certainly does not pay my bills. So don't quit your day job, literally. We're very upfront with our writers about, listen, like, we don't pay you in money, but we pay you in experiences.
Yeah, or exposure.
If they have an event in, like, we have some people in Arizona, we have people all over, which is great because they have events all over. So we tell them, if you want to go to this event, you get free tickets going as press. So it saves them like hundreds of dollars just in the tickets. And I'm like, that's how we pay you. And also, do you want to do an interview with that actor from that show? Like, that's cool. We can get you that.
Yeah.
So it's more of an experience based, or, you know, they can use it on a resume, but they're also, I don't hound them. If they want to do a weekly review, they can do that. If they want to wait until the season's over and do a season review, that's cool too. There's no deadlines. There's no pressure. Like and it might come from, so my job is working with mental health and substance use. So I understand, especially after COVID, but even before, like, anxiety is rampant.
Yeah.
The last thing you need is to try to do something for fun and have someone causing you anxiety from trying to do something that causes you pleasure. So they'll come in and they're like, oh, like, I work a full-time job. I don't know if I can get this article out every Friday. That's okay. You get it out when you can get it out. There's no pressure. There's no, like, you have to have so many views. They don't have to they don't have to jump through these hoops to get interviews. If I have an interview, I toss it out and be like, hey, anybody interested in this? Because I have no idea who this is. They'll be like, oh my God, yeah, I watched that. Oh, I'll take that. All right, cool. Here's the info. I'll send it to your email. Like, we try to be as pressure-free of a zone as possible. And we've ended up with, like, a little family. We all get each other, like, Christmas presents and celebrate each other's birthdays. And it's like, it's our own little community, and it's really great.
That's so sweet, because what I found is just on my journey to become an author, it's interesting how you connect with like-minded people, total strangers. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you connect better with the strangers than you do your own, like, circle of influence. And your friends are like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. And why are you doing it? And you're like, you're not my people anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the support. I mean, you're always going to have people who, you're going to have internet trolls no matter what you do.
Yeah.
But I think that the support and the amount of people who are supportive and think, wow, that's really cool. It's a huge community. And I joined Book Talk accidentally because I'm an obsessive reader, and I started chatting with authors, and I'm like, you want me to read your book before it's out? They're like, yeah. Why? I just want your honest thoughts. Like, if you post a review on Amazon, like, that's it. And I'm like, that's a cool deal. Yeah, I'll do that. And then I took it a step further, and I was like, this was a really great book. I'd love to review about it on my site, help promote it and get it out there. And then I had other authors coming to me and like, hey, I saw this review you did for this book before it came out. I have a book coming out. And I'm like, you send it to me. Let's do this. So now I'm, like, becoming this little, like, book reviewer accidentally. And I now review books more than TV shows, I think. So,
well, I mean, but that's so nice, because I think, traditional published, what are we down to, like, the top 4 publishers, and they really are the gatekeepers of the industry. And I think people are like, well, I may write a book and it may not be picked up, or if they do pick it up, it'll be published in a year or two, or if it's a year or two, I may not get the marketing. So a lot of more people are going self-publishing, and you need the reviews. I mean, reviews for everything, Yelp, Amazon. So that is great that you're willing to help all these people.
I love it. It's such I love it. I'm like, it's really bad. I'm like a book a day.
A book a day?
Dang.
Yeah, it's a problem. No, it's a problem. Like, I ban myself. Thank God we're a small town that, like, the closest Barnes and Noble, like 3 hours away. Thank God, because it's really bad. I have the Kindle Unlimited subscription, and that saves me probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's so bad. So then I got in with I had told you about that site, Book Sirens.
Yeah.
I got into that one accidentally, and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna, like, everyone's like, oh, this is so cool. I get this book early. I get to review the book before it's out. My thought was, oh my God, I'm not gonna go broke. Great.
It's so true, though. I love Book Sirens. And so, that's why I put mine. Some people do NetGalley, but NetGalley as an author is expensive. It's like $450.
That's crazy.
The Book Sirens is pay as you go. I think you could do like $100 a year per book or something like that as an author. But Book Sirens is, and there's another one called Story Origin that I haven't looked quite into. Like, I know enough to be dangerous, but not educated. And so that is a newer one, similar to compete with those. And then there's BookBub, but BookBub is they're the Goliath. You have to pay if they pick up your book, and if you're featured, it's like $1,000.
Wow.
Dang.
NetGalley
Yeah.
harsh on reviewers too. Like, you get denied for certain books. Like, there's higher expectations.
Really?
Oh yeah, they keep track of like, they feel like they're like, we're watching you type of deal. Whereas, like, I feel like Book Sirens feels like, oh my God, yeah, look how many interactions your review had. That's awesome. And NetGalley's like, you took this book out a week ago. Where the hell is the review? And just like, I read books fast, but maybe possibly what happens if you apply for them and they like review, they wait till a certain point before they approve or whatever. And my dumb self will be like, I love all 40 of these books. And I apply, and then like I think I forget how many I apply for.
Yeah.
And then I probably won't get approved for that one. And then I get 20 emails that you've been approved. And I'm like, oh well, shit.
Oh my gosh.
You have, you know, like, we recommend within a week, and they pressure you with emails, and I'm like, I need to stop doing that.
Dang.
Book Sirens,
I didn't know.
Book Sirens is like, you want this? Here you go. Take it. Done deal. You can, and they're smart, okay? You can only take out 3 at a time. You have to turn in the reviews before you do more. And I'm like, you guys are genius.
So, but it's electronic format, Book Sirens?
Yeah, which is sometimes it's kind of a bummer. And then my sister made a joke the other day that was accurate. I was like, oh, this is saving me so much money. She's like, really? Because I'm pretty sure that I just saw 5 books in physical copy that you ARC'd. And I was like, that's true. But I tried to point out, I was like, but these authors, they're like my friends now. He's like, maybe in Bookland. And I'm like, no, they really are. Like, we chat, and I have to support them by buying their book. And so that's how I got away with that, but I'll probably still go broke. Moral of the story is, I'm still going to go broke. Books will be the cause.
I hear you. I'll go into Barnes & Noble and drop 200 easy. It's just like, and it's on all subjects. It's fiction. It's, you know, my newest thing is like science and the brain, you know. Yeah, so I'll walk by and I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. And then there's one right next to it. Ooh, that sounds good. And then I go in the history section, it's the Nazis. I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. And the next thing I know, my stack is like this. And then I put it on my bookshelf with all the other 1,800 books I haven't read. And then I go back to Barnes & Noble and do it again.
Yep, all the time.
So you read them. I just look at them.
I do. Everybody's like, oh, like, how long is your TBR list? I don't have one of those.
Well, because
that is awesome.
You had told me that, so switching gears to your mental health and substance abuse, you're able to, in downtime, read there.
Right. So, I'm a chemical dependency counselor, and I'm the unit coordinator at an inpatient rehab. And so I'm fortunate enough that after years of working insane shift work and all jobs and all kinds of companies and all kinds of craziness, I now work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. But because I obviously have problems, besides reading too many books, one of them being that I'm a workaholic, we're right next door to the main hospital, and they'll be like, we have this person who's on either like a suicide watch or a detoxing watch, and they call them sitters. And so they don't have anyone to sit with them. So basically what you have to do is you have to keep eyes on them and document every 15 minutes, you know, are they doing okay? What's going on with them? And like, I don't need a lot of sleep. So, you know, it'd be a really smart idea. I can go work an overnight shift, and this person, hopefully, fingers crossed, will be sleeping, and I can read a book. Sometimes that works out, and then sometimes my counseling instincts take over, and they're awake, and we end up chatting for 8 hours about what their problem is and how I can help them, and I give them resources to outpatient and other services that they maybe previously didn't know about. Yeah, I have some crazy times. I've had them ask me, oh, we're really desperate. I work another job. So that's my full-time job. And I work another job. I work with this little girl who has severe autism. She requires in-home care. It's her mom and her brother that live there. And I've been with her for almost, I think this month is 10 years.
Dang.
So I think when I decided to go back to college when I was 25, and I think her mom was like, oh my God, like she's gonna get this degree and this career that she's finally realized she wants. She's gonna leave. And I was like, well, I can't be here 80 hours a week anymore, but I also don't have it in me to leave. So figure out a schedule. And it was really difficult until I shifted into this new position that's 9 to 5, because I'm like, oh, perfect. I can go there. She lives like 3 minutes from my work. So I go there after work and I hang out with her before bedtime. We do all of our nighttime stuff, and then she has a great night's sleep. So next door had called me and they're like, we really need somebody for tonight. Can you come in? And I was like, oh, I'm really sorry. I have to go to my other job. They're like, well, is there anything you can offer us? So I asked them when their biggest need was, and they said usually like middle of the night, early morning. So I thought, what would be a really great idea? To go home at 11 o'clock, allow myself to get 4 hours of sleep, and go in from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. because I'll get done at 5 p.m. and I go home, go to sleep. It'll be fine. So I go in at 4 a.m. I go to my regular job at 9 a.m. I'm getting done at 5. I'm going to enact this plan home and catching up on sleep. And we had a patient who needed a sitter on our unit. No one else could do it. And I was like, listen, let me go home and grab a nap real quick.
Yeah.
I'll come back and it'll be fine. So I went home and I went back for midnight, and I was planning on staying like, 10, 11 a.m. I ended up staying till 5 p.m.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
My coworkers are like, happy Friday. You literally worked all of Friday. Great job. So I went home and slept for like 12 hours. I got home and I was like, peace out. I'll see you tomorrow. Like, I'm done.
I mean, I would think, one, I can't go on 4 hours of sleep. I would vomit. And then two, I can't be nice to people at 4 a.m. Like, oh.
I'm not always nice. Definitely not. I'm the hard ass outlet, which seems to resonate with a lot of our population that we get. I think that some of them have been coddled a lot, and that's not helping them, and they know that that's not helping them.
Interesting.
And I think that then there's some that have never had any support. So I found like a happy medium where I'm like a supportive a-hole. Like, I think that you can do this, but also maybe pull your head out of your butt just a little bit. And that they, you find that happy medium of like what they need, they have to be pushed, because if something doesn't change, so if you come from a bad environment with a bad group of people and you come to me for 28 days, I cannot fix your problem in 28 days. Cannot fix your problem in 28 days. If you leave me and you go right back to that same environment with those same people, you're going to be seeing me again.
Yes.
And they say that with alcoholics, like I've heard from people who've gone through Al-Anon, right? That when they go back to their friend group or the environment that they came from, they will fail because their friends are like, oh man, come on, it's just one beer. Or, oh, you used to have so much fun. And like their environment won't allow them to change, so it doesn't stick.
Yeah. Alcohol's a really hard. Alcohol's a really rough one because, well, first of all, you can't go to a gas station without seeing it. And especially in my area where we're a small town, there's not always a lot to do other than, hey, let's go party in the woods. And that sounds fun, or it sounds like it's from a movie, but that's
wow.
That's how
surprisingly we do not have that selection here.
No.
That's not a choice.
Find a place where we're not supposed to be. First of all, we name it, and then it becomes a party place. And then this is insane, okay? This is real life. This is not a movie, I swear to God. So then the cops find out about said place. And then they're like, oh, these kids are partying on state land. So then the cops try to catch you on said party spot, and then you come up with wild and outrageous ways of not getting caught. And then you find a new place and you call it something else, and you wait however long it takes before they find out about that one.
Okay, but that sounds like a book. It really does.
The stuff that happens up here, people are like, that's not real life. No, it is. It's real life because there's nothing else to do. I have one movie theater within, if I don't want to travel farther than a half an hour, I have one movie theater. Don't even have a bowling alley. That's shut down. So we have all we got for entertainment are the movies and about 8 bars on every street corner.
That sounds about right.
You would die. You would die there. I would be fine because, well, I don't drink, but like I don't need a whole lot of like external. But I don't know what you do.
I would die. Yeah. Absolutely.
Biggest shopping is a Walmart.
Okay, well maybe I would die too. I can't.
Like an outlet store like Bath and Body Works or anything like that. Hour and a half. Yep.
Oh wow.
Okay, when's the last time you were in Walmart?
Oh, actually, recently. Christmas decorations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our Walmarts are a little rough, being that we're inner city, and so I mean, yours has had carjackings and stuff in the middle of the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, broad daylight doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
Yeah, our crime rate is fairly low, and it's usually stupid things. Stupid things that you definitely laugh about when you read them.
Houston is sky high. The highest it's ever been is our murder rate and our unsolved crime.
Yes. It's sad. It really is. Houston's really gotten bad on crime. I mean, and murders. It's not just crime, it's murders. But we just have, they just really, I can't remember what publication ranked the cities, but we're number 42 in the world as far as the best city. No. So we're the best. Now New York is like in the top 10.
We literally just had a boil water notice for the 4th largest city in the U.S. We had to boil our water.
For 2 days.
Wow.
Like an impoverished. So, yeah, no. And then they're coming out like, oh, well, the system is aging. Oh, well, we don't actually turn on the generators when the power goes out to them. We only reserve them from hurricanes.
Wow.
So we're in Harris County. So Harris County has about 2.8 million people.
Wow.
And then the greater Houston area, it's 7 million now? The surrounding greater Houston area, which is like Harris County, which is like Houston and Galveston. I don't know if you ever heard of Galveston. Yeah. It's like a big beach town. The Woodlands and Sugarland. So all those areas combined is 7 million people. Wow. So we have a couple bowling alleys and a couple movie theaters.
Talk about journalistic integrity. Whoever wrote that article lied. I've never been here.
Well, I think that they're looking at I think that the crime is kind of more recent and within the past couple of years is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But Houston is such an international city that people aren't aware. There's still this perception out there, I believe, that Houston, Texas, and we ride horses to work and stuff.
Or oil.
Now, we do still wear cowboy hats in the middle of the city. That's not unusual. Not unusual at all. I wear
cowboy boots maybe once a year when I get invited to the Go Texan. But when it's Go Texan Day?
Oh yeah. So, but anyway, so we're very international. So I think that there's 100 and I was trying to read. I think there's 145 languages spoken.
Wow.
In Houston.
That's cool. I can see it. I mean, we're a melting pot for sure.
Yeah. Like if you want Ethiopian food, there's an Ethiopian restaurant. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So,
yeah, we don't have, I mean, I think that the biggest thing for us is if it's going by state, we're high on the crime list because of New York City.
Oh, right. Right.
That people forget that New York State is more than just New York City.
Say what? I'm sorry. This is news to us.
I think that often we've had people past governors have also forgotten that it's New York State and not New York. We have a lot.
We share that. Y'all have a governor that's a little off, and ours is a little, so we have that
just a little. Yep. We've had people like, oh my gosh, I've heard it. So many people from all over New York State are like, man, I wish New York City would become its own state. And I'm like, you know what? That'd be a great idea. But then people would forget about us entirely. Because it's just like you'll never find anyone more frustrated than someone who says, I'm from upstate New York. And they say, yeah, Syracuse. And we say, that is central New York. Okay? We get mad. We are very upset by that because we are very proud to be Northern New York. We have a population of like 800. It's fine.
So how far are y'all from Buffalo?
Buffalo is about 4 hours.
So, but that's pretty upstate, correct?
It's, yeah, we probably
or more west.
Central, but that's because we're super picky. We stake a claim on New York and we don't budge on it. We're very stubborn.
I love it. So if you started at where you're at, or if you started at the very tip of the north of New York,
mm-hmm.
you know, upstate New York, and you went all the way down, how long does it take? How long would that take? Border to border? Yeah, border to border. How long would that take you to drive?
New York City closer to the bottom, and that's 6 hours from us. So I'd say from top to bottom between 10 to 12 hours.
Wow. Okay. Because how long does it take Houston to El Paso? Is like 12 hours, right?
Well, no. I mean, if you go Brownsville all the way up to like Abilene in the summer. So I have a question. If your town is 800, do a lot of people work for that substance abuse center or the hospital? I mean, is that like a big employer in the town?
The hospital itself is a huge employer. So they just got bought out by Rochester Regional.
Okay.
They're putting a bunch of money into making our hospital bigger because we have everything. It's all in like this one little campus. And our building actually, way back in the day, used to be a nursing home. So I really like to terrorize my patients and tell them that it's haunted.
Of course.
But it's we have below us is like outpatient behavioral health. We have an entire IT department. You know, of course, we have doctors, nurses. You have internists. You have all of these. We're a level 3 trauma. We just became a level 3 trauma. So there's definitely a very large portion of our area that works for the hospital, and even like the outward doctors' offices are still part of it. So there's a lot of people that work for them. And then you have a lot of businesses so my mom is a hairdresser. So you have independent business owners.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah, she owned her own business that was actually attached to our house for the first 15 years of my life. So it was kind of like having a stay-at-home mom, but she was super badass because she also worked. And then she went back to where she had started after she graduated high school and got her trade license. And she's been there ever since, and she loves it. But it's definitely, if you watch a cliched Hallmark movie about small town, that's not a joke. That's legit how we roll.
Really?
It's very people talk about how cheesy they are, and I'm like, dude, that's my life.
So you over decorate your town square
100%
for the holidays, because that's the one thing we're talking about. They over decorate.
Yeah.
Every tree. So we have in Main Street in our bigger town. I'm in.
You literally said Main Street.
Yeah, it's literally what it's called. I'm in a town called Pierpont, and then Potsdam, which is where I work. Potsdam's your bigger town, and they have a main street, and there's these trees every 4 or 5 feet, and they put lights in every single tree.
Oh, I love it.
And every lamp post, and they have little banners that as you're driving along, it's happy holidays from Potsdam.
The banners that go over the road.
We have one of those. Yeah. And then
I love those. I love those.
I mean, you don't see them here. But.
Yeah.
It's legit. So next time you watch a Hallmark movie, it's actually very accurate.
Oh, those Hallmark movies are so freaking cheesy. And now CBS has jumped on the bandwagon. Now CBS is doing them. I'm like, CBS is like, oh man, we're missing so much revenue because people are watching these revenue. People watching the Hallmark movies.
We make jokes too. We definitely make jokes too because, first of all, none of our men look like that.
I know, right? Where are those guys?
I would love to have such a meet cute as bumping into someone who I've never met before, but unfortunately, it's about a 90% chance that I went to high school with them. So,
no, you got it wrong, Sarah. They have to like leave your hometown, make it in the big city.
Yes.
And then something tragic happens that draws them back. Like the farm is going to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Or Ethel dies.
The Christmas farm.
Yeah,
I have to leave and go big city, but we are a college town because we have 2 colleges in Potsdam, and then another town about 15 minutes away has 2 colleges.
Oh.
They're not just state renowned, but like Clarkson's one of them, and they're pretty high up there. So sometimes you get people, but unfortunately I've now hit 30. So if I go after them, the chances are good that I'm being a predator.
Or cougar. It's all about branding. You could just call yourself a cougar and then you're not a predator. It's good.
I think at 30, when they're coming in at 18 and 19, if they got teen on the end of it, bad look. It's a bad look. Like, oh, how old are you? I'm 19. And how old are you? Well, I just turned 30. So
you're like, I just learned how to shave. And you're like,
yeah. It's that. They're babies. Like, it was really cute after, I just graduated and the college scene wasn't really for me. So I went right into the workforce, and we have I don't know if you guys have them in Texas. I think you do, but Big Lots.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I started at a Big Lots. They had just opened. Like, that was a big deal, okay? freaking Big Lots opening was a big deal. Everyone wanted to work there.
Did y'all have a grand opening with the ribbon cutting?
Oh yeah, it was huge. It was a huge deal.
Yeah.
The local news covered it. Like, it's a big deal. And I was like 19, and I went there, and I walked in, and they were like, it was very dramatic. It was like, half of you aren't going to make it past opening. We just need all of you to set up the store. So it was like crunch time. You had to prove you're a good worker. So I loved it. I did great. I loved retail. It was so much fun. And I was in my phase of like young and living life, and I felt very adult. And so I ended up being a manager by the time I was 20.
Damn.
By the time I was 22, I realized this sucks. Retail is not fun. People suck. All of your employees are twice your age, and they literally tell you, I'm not going to listen to some youngin' who doesn't know what I'm talking about
Exactly.
what to do. And I'm just like, okay,
Yep.
do whatever you want.
Because all of your other great work and opportunities have led you here. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. I did the bartending gig for a while. I thought that was going to be very adventurous. I watched too many movies clearly growing up. It was just a bunch of old people.
Wasn't that really your entry into therapy? Because bartenders are therapists.
Hindsight is 20/20, right? And I look back now at 30, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so dumb. How did I not realize that I wanted to be a counselor? Like, I'll have people say to me, oh my God, didn't you always know that? No, I had 25 hit me like a ton of bricks. My father was a severe alcoholic. My parents divorced when I was 15. I didn't speak to him for about 10 years, and he passed away.
Wow.
I kind of had to deal with all of that, and I was driving home, and I'm like, what am I doing? I want to be the person that if I can help one parent go home and not treat their kids poorly, or if I can help that kid understand that they're not the only one that got treated that way, that's what I want to do. And I came home, my mom is very, she'll tell people that my older sister, they're like, oh, like you have kids, because she's also a therapist as a hairdresser. And she'll tell her customers, will be like, oh, do you have kids? She'll say, yeah, I have one. She's my oldest one. She has her life planned out for the next 10 years, every minute. And then I have another one. And she flies through life by the seat of her pants. And it's so like, so I come home and I'm like, Ma, I want to go to college and I want to get a degree and I want to be a substance abuse counselor. She's like, oh my God, I think that's such a great idea. Let's make a plan and we'll sit down and we'll look at colleges and we'll figure it out. And then I came home the next day and I was like, Mom, guess what? I got accepted to Southern New Hampshire University. It's happening next week. I start. And she's okay, so we don't need to sit down and talk about it. Okay? And I went
like this.
Oh man, it was great. I had such a great experience. I got my bachelor's degree in 3 years.
Dang.
I got my job before I was even in the system as being graduated. Yeah, I was gonna wait. I didn't have the loans, were not really bad. I had good scholarships, and I was like, I'm gonna wait 2 years. I'm gonna be very responsible. I'm gonna pay off my loans, and then I'm gonna go back for my master's. My sister said, I give you 2 months. She was correct. I loved it so much, and they offered me a really good scholarship for graduating with good grades. And I went back, and I'm now 6 weeks away from my master's degree in psychology.
Oh, fantastic! Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been oh my gosh, thank you. It's been a really wild ride. It's been fun. I get asked a lot, like, are you a psychopath?
Yeah, because if we could just pause.
Yeah.
You work full time.
Mm-hmm.
You work a second job with your autism child.
Yep.
You sometimes are a sitter at the hospital, and you run Cape and Castle.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm a master's student.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
It is impressive. I just want to stop and like recognize all the stuff you do, because I feel like you have more hours in your day than we do. Yeah, I think so.
Can I have some? Can I borrow some, please?
I don't need a lot of sleep, and I'm really good at multitasking. So when I'm hanging out with my kiddo, and she's become super independent, I can do homework. Because I don't need a lot of sleep, I'm usually just at home reading. I can go volunteer my time to help somebody else out. My mom.
Just get lazy. You're like, I don't know. Never.
It was really funny. So we get free in-house counseling with my job.
Okay.
So you meet with one of your coworkers as like it's called supervision once a week. And you just kind of like, it's just in-house therapy. And when I first started and they were talking about all these things that I do, she's like, are you afraid to be alone with your thoughts? And I was like, no, I'm bored. Like, okay, but why are you bored? Because I'm bored. It took her, once she got to know me, she was just like, yeah, like, you're not mentally ill, you're just weird.
So how much sleep do you need a night? What's optimal for you?
Like 5. I'm ready to go.
But do you catch up? Like, do you do 5, and then on the weekends just binge out like 12?
I don't think every weekend. I think sometimes I hit where I'm just like, oh, I'm kind of tired. Like 5-hour power nap. Let's do it. But it's not regular. And then there are times where like I have like a reserve where if something happens and I need to call on it, it's like, listen, I can go 4 to 8 hours. Let's do this.
What?
Shit.
And I don't really like to sit still. My mom and I have like a running joke where I'll call her and I'll be like, guess what I did today? She'll be like, you know what? I don't even freaking know. I don't know. And it's like my favorite because I love that I can tell her something that's going to shock her. So 5 years ago, I was like, Mom, it was so random. Like, I'm the most random person. I'm like, guess what I did today? She's like, what'd you do? I said, I'm now an ordained minister. It's like I don't even think I'm surprised anymore. Like, so I've done, and that's so much fun. Oh my God. I've done like 300 weddings. Oh, it's so cool.
That is a crazy amount.
It's the best feeling ever. Well, because it started with like friends and family, right?
Yeah.
And I do custom script writing, which is where my love of writing gets to come into play. And then word of mouth gets around. Like, I've traveled a few hours. I've had people reach out to me by email or Facebook, like, oh, I got your name from so-and-so. We're having our wedding in Alex Bay. Do you think you could come down and do it down by the water? I'm like, heck yeah, let's do it. And I like to find, COVID was really bad for me in the way that, like I called I was like, guess what I did today? I got my boating license. Why? I don't know. You never know. You might need to drive a boat. Like, I just find, like, what can I do? What can I add? And she's like, is the goal, I'm just curious, is the goal to see how many, like, different cards you can have in your wallet? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just.
Next thing you know, you're like, hey, Mom, I became a tattoo artist.
Yeah. There's this really fine line between she loves it and also she's so exasperated with me that she just doesn't really know what to do anymore. And then there's like that, where do you get this from? Why do you do these? I don't know. And my sister is so anxious and she's just like, oh my God, like, you gotta, like, you don't know these people. You stand up in front of these people and, like, you marry them. What if they get divorced? Hey, man. Divorce are. Although I did make a really good joke the other day about how if I did become a divorce lawyer, how cool would that be? I can marry you, but in 5 years, if you want to get divorced, come see me again. I'll help you then too. I think I'm probably take longer than 5 years. Lawyer and doctor, I feel, are a little.
Yeah, Tara, you could do that. She's a bankruptcy attorney.
I'm a lawyer.
Ooh.
You could marry him and divorce him.
Yeah, see, it's like you could get paid twice by the same people, and that's kind of like, you took my money when you married us, and now you're taking more of my money to divorce us. Did you set this up?
Right. Oh man, I would never want to be in the middle of that. I would never want to do family law. That would War the Roses.
That'd be a little messy. But I don't know. I think that I think I get an adventurous spirit from. I do get it from my mom. She doesn't think that she has one, but she does.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that, I mean, I am able to process different, like, we had some shitty things happen to us in our childhood. Mm-hmm. But I process it in a way that, like, you have one life, and my answer to everything, like, why are you doing that? Why the hell not?
Right, exactly. And that's the way it should be. Why not?
Why not? I mean, yep. I make jokes. My sister is so careful and cautious and gotten a lot better, and I absolutely shove her very forcefully outside of her comfort zone, violently. And she appreciates it after, but when I'm shoving her violently out of the safe, she's very upset. And I said, I tell her all the time, when we're 85 years old and we're sitting next to each other in our rocking chairs and our grandkids or our great-grandkids are asking us about our adventures, yours is going to be boring as shit. And they're going to be like, great-grandma Sarah, she's got the cool stories. And she's like, is that it? Is that the goal? It might be. Well, if you want cooler stories than me, then you can stop now. We're done. And I'm like, no. It's got to be, I have to have all the stories.
You're like, I'm just beginning, sister.
Yeah.
Has anyone then labeled you ADHD? Because I feel like we are so fast to slap that label on really active or adventurous people.
No, shockingly enough, no.
I get that because I'm like you, a lot like you, and I get maybe you're ADHD. Shockingly, I have a lot of coworkers who are ADHD.
Yeah.
And they tell me that they don't, because, like, I'll be like, like, you relate to that, right? Like, kind of shifting from one thing to another. And they're like, no, I couldn't focus on that many things.
Oh, interesting.
I'm just, my mom really likes to tell me that I'm just really not normal. Because, like, it's not that there's something wrong with you, but something's not right.
Especially if you're a counselor and you've studied mental health. I mean, how do you not turn that on yourself? I'd be like, that's me. Or reading, I label myself with all these things.
Yeah. I think that I do, as far as, I think I kind of step outside to deal with something. Like, okay, like, you're just really mad right now. Process it. How are you going to process it? That kind of thing. But as far as, like, so I counsel myself, but as far as, like, the mental health portion of it, I think everybody's different in what helps them be mentally healthy.
Yeah.
And I think some people need to have just one thing that they focus on, and that like centers them and makes them feel like really, really focused and helps give them their energy back and makes them just feel mentally refreshed. If I want to get mentally refreshed, I have to go learn 5 new skills. Like I just
it was like that.
Like, yeah, I need to get refreshed. Let me go learn.
Yeah, and like I don't think that I could stop doing that if I tried. And like every time I think like, okay, I'm good, I'm well established, I'm settled, I'm 30, I'm all of these things, all these reasons where I should have a typical day to day. And I think that's what I don't want to have. I don't want to have a normal typical week. I don't want a typical day. And I think that's what draws me to listen, at inpatient rehab, you can't make this shit up. And no day is the same. There's, like there's wild things that happen there, some crazy stuff that goes on. It's a wild population.
It's probably why you like it so much, though, is the variety that it brings, in addition to obviously the obvious, helping people.
Yeah, I like that it keeps it interesting. Like, I don't think that I could sit and do the same thing all day, every day. I don't think I could do the corporate thing.
Mm-hmm.
One of the huge draws of my work, why I've always wanted to work there, is because you can have dogs there.
Oh, man.
My next venture was like, I'm going to get a dog and I'm going to make him a therapy dog. So I went and I got my little border Aussie. He was 7 weeks old. I got him from an Amish farm. And he did 6 weeks of obedience training. He was the youngest dog in the class. And the instructor was like, oh, are you sure you don't want to wait? And I was like, nope, he's smart. Let's do this. We work on this at home. He's got it. And so he did 6 weeks of that, and he did a 6-week prep course, and then he took his test. And he has been coming to work with me since he was about 4 months old.
Wow. How old is he now?
He is 1.5 years now.
Oh.
Yep. His name is Sawyer James.
Like a person.
Yep. He has his own ID badge. No one really cares when I get to work, but they get real mad if I don't bring him.
Does he wear like a vest or something?
He does have a vest.
He doesn't always. A lot of service animals have the vest.
Yeah.
So people know.
We're a locked unit. So like if I take him over to the main hospital, I might put him in his vest. But at our place, he has a little hospital badge that goes on his collar. And it has his name and his picture. And it says therapy dog. It can't open any doors, but it looks real legit.
Oh my gosh.
He prances around like he's just the coolest thing since sliced bread. The patients love him, and he probably does more for them than any of us counselors ever could.
Sure.
You hear that all the time, though. Like nursing homes will have cats that live there. I mean, you hear how animal therapy, we've totally underestimated it, and it's not as common, in my opinion, as it should be.
Yeah, it's huge. It's I used to teach kids with autism in the school setting, and they would
of course we did.
Some of them would do equestrian therapy.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
And we had my mom had a customer who, her little girl had severe autism. She was not speaking. They were doing all the speech therapies, all the different alternative therapies. Nothing was working. She was fascinated, like would just stare horses down. She was just so fascinated with them. They took her to a farm, and the person let them interact with the horse. She interacted with that horse for a while, and then she started talking.
Wow. And I wonder if the horse was.
I have heard that there's some places here in Houston that do horse therapy with autistic kids.
And they say horses are one of the most empathetic and emotional with human beings. And we used to talk a lot about working with all these other people that work with kids with autism. It's like a meeting of the minds. Like everybody has so many different viewpoints and experiences and understandings. And I had this one teacher that I worked with that I used to tell them, if you don't put me in her classroom, I'm going to quit. She's the only one I want to be with. She would say, like, every kid with autism, their brain is just like a lock, and you have to find the right combination of tumblers to unlock it. Mm-hmm. And, maybe you have 4 out of 5, but you have to find that 5th one. And I've seen so many kiddos who couldn't do something for such a long period of time, and something clicks, and you don't know what it is or when exactly it happens. You can't really always pinpoint it, and all of a sudden they're making huge strides. It's
but that's going to take a toll on the family trying to figure out the right keys to open the lock.
Oh yeah. They're stressful. Yeah, I don't know that I can imagine having a child with autism. I think that if I got handed it, I would, find a way to deal with it, but it's a lot. I mean, I've seen parents really struggle, and they're trying to stay strong for their kids, and they're trying to be understanding of their kids. I liked that I get to see the different aspect of it in the home.